All right, so we're going to pick up now talking about dreams. So, dreams are the stream of images, actions, and feelings experienced while we're in REM sleep. Now, the most of our dreams occur during REM, the dreams that are vivid, the dreams that are imaginative and creative and cool, these occur during REM sleep. Now, there's some evidence to say that we can have dreams in other stages of sleep, but they're not typically, the things that we associate necessarily with kind of stereotypical dreams. They're more some of those hypnagogic kind of hallucinations that we can experience in stage, 3 or stage 2 sleep. So what do we dream about? Okay, so dreams often include some negative event or emotion, especially failure dreams. Some really common things that people tend to remember are being pursued, attacked, rejected, or having bad luck. Contrary to popular, kind of theory, dreams do not often include sexuality. We may incorporate real-world sounds and other stimuli into our dreams, especially, towards the end of a REM cycle when something starts to wake us up, that we can kind of have that lucid dreaming where we're kind of in that middle ground where we think we're waking up, where we think we're still in our dream, but we're kind of waking up, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, and then you kind of have that realization moment in your dream that you're like, oh, this is a dream. We call that lucid dreaming. So there is a way to kind of, bring in real world stimuli. Now, dreams often include images from recent traumatic or frequent experiences. Okay, so the first person to really look at this idea of dreams was Sigmund Freud. Okay, so Sigmund Freud in his psychoanalytic theory believed that there was this hidden, what he called latent content underneath the symbolic manifest content. Okay, now the latent content was conflicts, worries, and urges, and the manifest content was the plot, actions, and images recalled. So the manifest content, according to Freud, was what we actually remember, and the latent content was what it was actually about. And, again, so Freud really believed in symbology because he said that if, all of the symbols that occur in the manifest content actually kind of can reveal the latent content. And so if we could figure out what all those symbols are, then we can uncover the latent content of our dreams. Now, again, Freud, had his own unique perspective on what the majority of those symbols were, and we'll talk about that more in class and work with that a little bit more. But again, the first person to really kind of go into dream theory was Sigmund Freud and his delve into what this unconscious mind that he was the first person to really care about. So what are some of our current theories about the functions of dreams? Well, one theory is something called the wish fulfillment theory, and this is still based off of psychoanalytic theory. And this says that dreams provide a psychic safety valve and often express otherwise unacceptable feelings and contain both the manifest, the remembered content, and the latent content, the hidden meaning. Now, the problem with this is that it really lacks any scientific support and the fact that dreams can be interpreted in so many different ways. The information processing theory explanation of dreams is that dreams help us sort out the day's events and consolidate our memories. So it makes sense because oftentimes the things that we remember in our dreams are things that have happened. But the problem is, or kind of the butt of this theory is, why do we sometimes dream about things that we haven't experienced? So it doesn't kind of explain everything. The physiological function theory kind of says that regular brain stimulation from REM sleep may help develop, and preserve neural pathways. Now, this is true, okay? This is something that sleep does. We do know that during REM sleep, it is consolidating memory, it's organizing, it's, doing all that, it's allowing us to do that insight and stuff like that in our unconscious mind. So this is true, but it doesn't explain why we experience meaningful dreams, right? If it was just this kind of preserving neural pathways and brain stimulation, what about, those powerful dreams, those dreams that mean something to us, those dreams that help us, organize and understand our world? So the activation synthesis theory, which is REM sleep triggers impulses that evoke random visual memories, which our sleeping brain weaves into stories. So in this theory, the individual's brain is weaving the the stories, which tells us something about the dreamer. So this theory actually kind of has the most clout in dream studies today because it kind of it picks up all of the key elements of information process and physiological function that when we're in REM sleep, our brain is allowed to fire off all these random things, but it also allows us to kind of take in the personal component of dreams, which is obviously the way that your brain forms the story from all of this stuff is important and it's meaningful and it says something about you in how your brain kind of creates that story. And then the last theory is that, the cognitive development theory, which is dream content reflects the dreamer's cognitive development, his or her knowledge and understanding. The problem with this, though, is that it doesn't address the neuroscience of dreams. So again, dreams are a controversial type thing because there's not any good way to study dreams right now. The only way that we can study dreams is self-report. We put people in sleep clinics, we hook them up to an EEG, we monitor their brain waves, and when we see that they are in REM sleep, we let them carry on for a period and then we wake them up. Because the only time you remember your dreams is if you wake up, during or immediately following a REM cycle. Because again, think back to memory formation. The only way that we could form a memory is if we pay attention to it. Well, if you're going through our REM cycles and our sleep cycles, where we go 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, REM, 3, 2, 1 REM, and we keep doing that. If we go back to sleep after that REM cycle, well, there's no attention paid. There's no conscious kind of attention paid to it, so we're never going to remember it. And that's why sometimes it feels like you don't remember your dreams or you never dreamed, even though you probably dreamt multiple times on any one night. Well, but because we never you didn't pay attention to the content, or you were ever exposed to the content of those dreams in a conscious state, you never had the ability to form the memory of them. So dreams are kind of a really interesting thing, and we'll spend a lot of time, going over a lot of this stuff in class. But again, so the big things to make sure you know about dreams. Okay, Sigmund Freud, first person, manifest latent content, and make sure that you're familiar with these major theories of dreams and then the good and the bad of them. All right, next time we're going to pick up talking about hypnosis.